otherwise.
Dr. Lewis, you say the Premier, you're asking the question, why did the Premier violate the confidentiality of the negotiations? But so now you're talking about having these information sessions and such, and you've provided a breakdown of what you submitted to government. Now you're, I guess, taking it a step further in making those negotiations public. Is that because you feel the Premier has opened the door wide to it, or what?
Well, when all of this started out, I mean, we try to be professionals here, you know. We're trying to work together as a team to try to provide and work out the best care that we can for the patients in Newfoundland and Labrador. This is not a quick fix that we're looking for. This is something that we're looking for to the future, for the next 10 years even, and we're trying to be very constructive in terms of achieving that. So when it comes to trying to negotiate such a big mission, we said that the best way to go about doing this is to negotiate privately, and we'd stay behind closed doors and we'd talk back and forth. And in fact, we thought that that's what was going on. After the first meeting in April the 24th, when we started speaking, a lot of discussion was had. And in fact, I was interviewed a number of times on radio and in Corner Brook, and basically we said that we were going to respect the government, respect the agreement that we made, and that basically we weren't going to negotiate in public. We weren't going to talk about it. We were going to come to a reasonable agreement and then let the public know that we were able to do this together in a professional way, working together. And so we were led to believe that that's in fact what was going to happen. And then we're asked, after much discussion, and you got to remember these proposals were done in discussion with government officials. I mean, we all sat around a table, we discussed back and forth, and then at the end of all of that, we were asked to submit a written proposal, which we did on March the 3rd, and you have that in front of you. So we were waiting for a written response. The first response that we get, the very first response that we get, is from the Premier saying that it's through the roof, too high, unacceptable. So we have to, lay the record straight. We have to be sure that people understand effectively what we're hoping to achieve in terms of trying to provide care to the patients and working at the best formula that's available. And we still believe that this should be done in a private situation. But we're forced now at this point in time to explain our situation, to provide the public with what our thoughts are, which we think are very reasonable. I mean, we want Atlantic parity. We don't want the top scale. We want to be dead in the middle. I mean, I don't think these things are unreasonable. And so the reason why we're letting this come out in public is that we'd like the public, our patients, and people in general to have a look at it and see what they think about our proposals.
If I can just add one comment here. The reason we want to have public information sessions is because I think, there's a couple of reasons. One reason is very recently physicians were told if there is a problem, if there is a risk, we want to know about it. And if you don't tell us on a timely basis, you are going to be punished. This is in the same spirit. We want the public to know what the price is, what the consequences are when those decisions are made in our negotiations. We're dealing with issues here. We're not dealing with posturing. So the public has a right to know. They have a right to know that if the government chooses a particular course of action, this is what the consequences are going to be. And I think the public has every right to know that. So we're going to expose it. And it's that simple. It's not a pressure tactic. But the Pandora's box was opened by the Premier. We could not let that rest. That was a portrayal of physicians in a negative way. It was a portrayal of the NLMA in a negative way. So we wanted the public to be able to judge for themselves just how unreasonable we've been.
Was there any deadline on responding to that March 3rd letter in front of the structure negotiations?
We're trying to be as patient as we can. if there's we want there to be a bit of breathing room here. Let's see. We want to see a letter. All we're asking for, is to get a serious answer, to a serious letter. And then we'll make it, then we'll decide what our next move is going to be.
But if they respond to your letter, isn't that in fact a resumption of negotiations, at least by the exchange of responses and proposals? It's not arbitration, which you've asked for.
Yeah.
A written response is de facto a counter-proposal.
It is, and the reason we want a written response is to determine whether the bias that we have now seen up to this point remains. Like right now, Danny Williams is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. He makes all the decisions, and if they respond to us in writing in a reasonable way, we might just reconsider. But so far, we've only had one sentence response. So they have yes, there's an opportunity. But I want something in writing, because whatever we talk about behind closed doors doesn't amount to a hill of beans.
So binding arbitration, if no response, if there's a response, you're leaving the door open for resumption of meaningful talks.
Depending on the response. Depending on the response.
I mean, we're trying to be as reasonable as we possibly can, and we want to get a resolution to this. Our members are very concerned. Our patients, the public, are obviously very concerned. So we want to work together to try to get something solid.
Keep in mind, we're 15 months into this, and there are lots of issues that have been kept in abeyance until these negotiations are over. It's time to break the logjam.